Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge they don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like, wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifted. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
You's a clown, that's what you. Why don't you call me a cardboard bishop now? You tough? Call me a cardboard bishop now.
He's not gonna call you that.
Huh? Look on Facebook Live. Call me a cardboard bishop now. You clown. That's what you are. You clown. That's what you are. Why don't you say what you say on Facebook Live, sucker?
No.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. Welcome to all the intellects. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been rocking with your girl for a minute, welcome back. We are back with the Bishop Lamor Whitehead saga. I told you guys I will keep you updated, and I'm going to do so. Since I started going over this back and forth between Whitehead and the government, it just got a little interesting. So my members, they've already seen the documents that dropped last night that the government replied to the response from Whitehead, which is a continuation of yesterday's video where I went over Whitehead's response. And some of the information in there was a little like, oh, okay. So we are going to go over that today. I hope you guys had a fabulous Thursday. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing over here. Classy K. What up, though, as we say in Detroit. Black Gold PA. You said, hey, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for coming over here. Ray Mel, I see you. Miss Baez Delicia, thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a great mod. I appreciate it. Maria, what's happening? Courtney, good to see you. Eris Bees on Mars. Nestos Pen Pal. Where did you get this drawing over here on the picture? I think you mixed this up with the law offices of Hood and Ghetto on the other channel, okay? But thank you so much for spending some of your time when you can be somewhere writing. I thank you for coming over here and supporting your girl. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jacqueline. Let's look up the definition of a clown. Let's just start that. Calling people clowns all the time. Let's just see. What does Google say a clown is? And let's see who, if anybody, would fit that definition, because we always want to make sure we have our authority. So a clown, according to Google, is a comic entertainer, especially one in a circus, wearing a traditional costume and exaggerated makeup. An unsophisticated country person. Behave in a comical way and act playfully. What does it mean to be called a clown? If you say that someone is a clown, you mean that they say funny things or do silly things to amuse people. Very interesting, very interesting. Let's see if that fits with what I am about to go over. So for those of you that have not been following this Whitehead saga, I don't know where you've been. But Whitehead was the individual who a lot of us got to know him because he was robbed online while streaming his service. Well, after that, he was obviously enjoying a lot of the attention, and so he did press conferences and the such. And that's how we really got to know who he was. At those press conferences, no one asked him about the robbery, but a lot of the news personalities in the press, they asked him about all the other drama or situations that was going on in his life. And then they called him the Bling Bishop. Why did they do that? Go to his page and see why they call him the Bling Bishop. He had on Gucci suits and Louis Vuitton outfits and Fendi, and it literally has all of the imprints all over. And then he would have these big gaudy jewelry, and he rides around in Rolls Royces, and I don't know. I think he had a Maserati at one point. He had two Rolls Royces, like the drop top, and he had the truck. I mean, he was out here riding around and getting it. So people thought, or he wanted people to think. And then they found out that he was accused at that time, which he's been convicted of swindling $90,000 out of a Pauline Anderson, who was an elderly woman, and she got it out of her retirement, extorting a business person, lying to the it was just thing after thing. We had a long segment of a church, Glory of God. He tried to evict them out of the building. However, the judge denied it. So I guess he used self-help, took the locks off, and was occupying the building up until about April. And we followed that whole saga until they got back in the building. They are actually still in court to this day, trying to figure out who owns this building. The person who bought it from a tax sale, where Glory of God was on the ownership of the building, but it went to a tax foreclosure. The guy who bought it from the tax foreclosure sale, he's accusing Whitehead of fraudulently taking the deed and signing it over. That's his accusation in court. They were just in court yesterday about that. So ongoing. He has a property in Connecticut. For those of you that don't know what that property looks like, this
In
is
the
the
rain,
property.
y'all. Slowing down the rain, but we working. We are working, y'all. Working. Stairs complete. Whitehead steaks, y'all. Coming all together.
Right? And so come to find out, we started following that, and that was in foreclosure. And it was just a lot. It was one point where he was trying to evict the people up out of the building, and they were showing pictures. It was in the paper of how they were living, and leaks and faucets broken, just all type of stuff. So we were following that because those hearings were on Zoom. They've been trying to take that building from him and foreclose it for at least over a year. So we've been following that too. So that's still going on. But it's just been story after story after story. But then Whitehead ended up indicted. And he got indicted, like I was saying, about those 5 different counts. And your girl pulled up, and I went to the Southern District of New York Federal Court, and I gave you guys copious notes and play-by-play of what was happening in the court and the membership. And he was convicted of all 5 counts. Well, since he's been convicted, he still wants everyone to believe that the bishop did not do what they said that he did. So he started a podcast called Not Guilty. He also went on Dr. Jamal Bryant's podcast. Now, those of you guys who don't know who Jamal Bryant is, he is actually the pastor over there at New Birth, where Eddie Long was the pastor over there in Lithonia, I think, Georgia. Now, so I guess he's Baptist now, but he was AME. I grew up AME, so that's how I know Jamal's father is the bishop in the AME church, and he was actually our bishop. But nevertheless, I digress. He sits down and he talks to Jamal Bryant because he wants us, the people that have nothing to do with his case, he wants us to believe that he didn't do it. And he's been maintaining his innocence. He said the government set him up, and and that's it. But what got him in trouble? Because you do have freedom of speech in this here divided states of America. And what got him caught up was he wanted to give information that like us bloggers, I guess, don't have, or people that don't have the transcripts. And of course, Pacer, you have access to the documents. Because he would always tell people, don't believe what's there, just look at the documents. And that's what we've always done. So I don't even know why he said that. But nevertheless, people were looking at the documents and looking at the transcript, and the transcripts were basically saying what I said they were saying. So then he wanted us to see information that he was provided by the government that was attorney privilege only or under seal under what we call a protective order. That means you can only use this information in defense of your case. It under seal obviously is because you don't want the public to have it. When you file on a system such as Pacer, it does become public record. Now you can request that the court allow some things to be private. So things like social security numbers, obviously you don't put that on there. Or things like medical records, you may want it under seal if it's a personal injury case. But in this case, for the criminal aspect of it, you may get documents that have personal identifying information. It may be information where other investigations are going on. It may be wiretaps that have other names in it. It can be all type of stuff. But you are entitled to have what the government has. That's the law. So, but that doesn't mean you can divulge it to everyone. So, what the government alleged is that Whitehead on his podcast decided to take one of those very confidential documents and start reading and then show, and the government is saying, I guess they saw some stamps or something to show that it was some of the private documents. Then what the government alleged is that Whitehead offered, and again, I didn't watch his podcast at all, and now he has taken it down, as I told you guys yesterday. But he alleged that he was going to start a Patreon, or maybe he started one, and you can find the documents in Patreon. So it all started when some random person, and I told you guys, I was like, this just sounds like some random person. This could be somebody in the chat, because some of y'all just don't like this man. He ain't even do nothing to you guys. Jeez. So somebody decided they were going to email the judge because they were sick of him. Okay. And in this email, they were letting the judge know that Whitehead was out here blaming things on the government, blaming things on the prosecution, harassing, threatening the Andersons, who I told you was one of the victims in his case. And was like, they were concerned, blase. Now, I told you guys, I was like, I don't even know who this person is. This is real random. So, in my opinion, I just was like, okay, I can see if the Andersons say that, but that could just be somebody in the, that could have been Bishop B. You know what I'm saying? We don't. That could have been April who did that. We don't know. So it wasn't really that made me, look into it. Unless, like I said, unless the Andersons or someone came forward. Well, the government, the judge was like, you're a third party. You haven't asked permission to file in this case, but I am concerned about you saying that people are being threatened and harassed. So I wanted to look into this. This was based on the email. And so the court told the government to respond to the email. So of course the government obeyed the court's order, responded to the email. But then they said, and another thing. We got another thing, right? They said, Judge, not only has it been whatever this on top of this email situation, we've learned that he is revealing confidential information that is under seal or under this protective order. And that is contempt of court. And he is still on bond. He is not supposed to commit any more crimes. He's not supposed to be doing anything. And we want to remand it immediately. And although you have originally set this hearing up for like the 20 something ish of May, you think you can get us in a little sooner? Can you clear your calendar and get us in a little bit sooner? And the judge said, you know what, government, we're going to get you guys in sooner. So I want you, Whitehead, to respond on the 6th of May. And I want you to respond to what the government is alleging related to the protective order by the 7th of May. And I want all you guys to come together on the 13th of May. And we are going to discuss this matter and what we're going to do next. And so on yesterday, watch the video after I finish this one if you haven't watched it. I went over, and the one before that, last week, did I do the government? I can't remember. But watch the last two videos. I believe they're both on Whitehead. So on yesterday, Whitehead responded to basically the emails and said he hasn't threatened to harass, hasn't told anybody to threaten to harass. He don't know what the lady talking about, basically. That's just the summary version of it. That's the plain English version. Then as it pertained to the violation of the protective order, Whitehead wrote another response, and he basically said he didn't violate the order. He gave the case law. We went over that. So that was his main argument. But then he also said, Your Honor, there are less punishable sanctions that you can put on me. I mean, Trump's out here running a whole muck. He was sanctioned how many times? And he ain't been to jail yet. So, Your Honor, there are less things. You can tell him to take it down. You can give him parameters on what he can and cannot say. But his family needs him. He said he has 4 children and they rely on him. And so what my commentary was I thought it was interesting because I've watched his wife, like, every now and then I go over there, not often, but I'll go over there and she had a following, I'm sure, before she married him. And she's doing quite okay. She has not stopped with her following. They done went on a whole field trip for the Breakfast of Champions. They went on field trips every day. I said, well, maybe he babysitting or something, because they do have a really young baby. But the baby is on her lap or in the car. You can go over there on Instagram. You don't even have to take my word for. Let me look her up. So I was like, rely on you. That's interesting. And I said it was interesting yesterday. Well, the government thought it was interesting too. So let's see. I'm gonna see. So this one right here is. But there is something. Okay, let me cut it up. So this is the other day. This is her, right? This is the wife. And so I'm like, so it ain't because you're babysitting, because she got the baby all the time. Let's just pick another random day, see if the baby's there. I'll just pick random days. Let's pick another little random day here and see. Oh, there's another random day. You see what I'm saying? Baby sleep. Baby getting all the Holy Ghost on Sunday mornings or every day of the week, I think, is when she does it. But nevertheless, he said his family relies on him. And so, you know what? I'm going to need you guys to, no, Yes, Florida T-Bird, she still had a baby there. She does. So my point was, it wasn't because the baby's sitting on her lap. The point was that I know that she does have the baby, and she seems to be doing rather well in her ministry. In fact, it seems like she's doing better. She has consistent following. She actually has people that are on her lives watching her, listening to her pray every day and give her scriptures and come in and do her praise and worship every day. And she has the number of days on there, how many days she's been doing this, even all the shenanigans that have been going on out here with her husband. She has still been consistent and faithful to the people that she shepherd. That's what Bishop Asia has been doing, who is the wife of Whitehead. Okay. And so the government said that they wanted to respond to what Whitehead was alleging. So he was saying, you can do less harsh, even if the court finds that I did somehow violate, even though I don't believe that I did, you can do less harsh. And he did take down the video. I think there are some shorts. I don't know what are in those shorts, but he does have shorts or whatnot. But otherwise, he has taken it down. Thais, he said, in the beginning, I used to think that was a baby doll until I seen the baby move. Thais, I would like to thank you for the super chat. And I don't know what to say. I don't know. Oh my gosh. It's a beautiful baby, though. That is a cute baby. Let me see the membership. Thank you, Q the Prophet, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Intellects. Let's pull up this document real quick because the government wanted to respond to reply or ask the court for permission to reply to the response, because you don't automatically have the ability to reply to a response. So the government did ask permission, and this is what the government said. They said, the government respectfully requests permission to file this letter, providing an update in response to the court's May 1st order. Briefly responding to the defendant's two briefs in opposition to the government's motion to remand the defendants. First, the government has spoken with the Andersons about the allegation contained in the email the court docketed on May 1st, 2024. The Andersons are understandably uneasy about the defendant's public remarks, including remarks disparaging them. But the government understands that the defendant has not made any direct or indirect threats against them. So the Andersons have spoken, and it sounds like it's what I suspected, that it was probably one of y'all up here contacting this judge. So the Andersons said they don't like him talking about him, but he did not threaten them directly or indirectly. So, accordingly, the government is not relying on the allegations contained in the email in its application to remand the defendant, nor asking the court to rely on or consider the email when ruling the government's motion. So, the government said, we're just going to keep our stuff based on Whitehead's own actions within these podcasts and the interview that he has done. We're not going to rely on this email at all. So the email to them is not even an issue because the Andersons have spoken and they said they have not received threats directly or indirectly. Y'all got to cut it out here in these YouTube streets. But I knew what was up. You know what I'm saying? When I saw it, I was like, out here cutting up. So then the government goes on to say, but even if the Andersons have not received threats, the defendant has certainly taken steps to create risks to them. The defendant has falsely claimed that the Andersons could have been charged with federal crimes, and that Miss Anderson's son was an informant for the FBI. So the defendant has falsely claimed the Andersons could have been charged with federal crimes and that Miss Anderson's son was an informant for the FBI. In a video, the defendant posted to Instagram on April 23rd, 2024, promoting the April 30th, 2024 YouTube video discussed in the government's prior letter. The defendant talked about his intention to disclose a ton of paperwork that nobody else can get but me. Documents he described as inside stuff. The defendant suggested he, quote, tell the audience, quote, a little secret. Quote, what if the Anderson and her son could have been charged with wire fraud? What if on April 30th, I'm going to show y'all some stuff. What if Miss Anderson's son was the one who was behind it all? What if I show y'all that he was a federal informant? Woo-hoo! Oh, really? What if? Just what if? The defendant stated later in the video that Miss Anderson's son was wired up working for the FBI. And so then they have a footnote of the videos available, and they give the court the link to his Instagram reel. And in the video, the defendant has referenced the same Bible verse, Psalms 105 and 15. You guys know what that is by now, that he used to threaten the Andersons in May 2021 when they asked the defendant to return Miss Anderson's $90,000. You know, that's that touch my anointing. So let me guys tell you what this alleged, because this is what I think he's talking about. So when I was in trial taking my copious notes, his attorney was really badgering the Andersons on cross. Well, I don't know if badgering is the word, but I'm say, going hard. That's what you do on cross. That's all you have is cross, to create your story. So on cross-examination, they were really going hard. And what they were alluding, Miss Anderson had actually co-signed for Rashid's FHA loan. So what they were trying to allude to was almost as if you are supposed to live in a home in order to be a co-signer for an FHA loan. So because there was no intent for Miss Anderson to live there, they were trying to allude that she committed some type of crime by co-signing. But let me look that up. Can you co-sign? Let's ask the Google. Can you co-sign on an FHA mortgage? Oh, okay. Well, I just Googled that because I didn't know, because I don't, I don't profess to know everything. So I'm not a real estate person. But I just asked, can you co-sign? And this is what Google said. They said the FHA will allow another borrower who will not live on site to co-sign on an FHA home loan. When applying for a mortgage loan with a non-occupying co-borrower, the lender will take all of the income, liabilities, assets, and the credit score of both borrowers into account. So it looks like, which, seemed like it would make sense to me, but I didn't know for sure. It looks like you can co-sign. So that's not necessarily true. But anyway, nevertheless, and I know they did take, because I know that they did take her credit, her income, all of that, and his, both of them, like both of it was inconsiderate. Nevertheless, as I say, if let's just assume that you can't, because I think St. James said where they are, maybe you can't. I don't know. I just Googled it. That's my authority is Google. I ain't looked real hard into it. But even if that was allegedly the case, what the information that came out, this is why it wasn't clicking to me, why they were honing in on this, is because Miss Anderson did not want to sign. She did not want to co-sign at all. That came out by everybody. But Whitehead persuaded her, and there was a text where Rasheed Anderson was thanking Whitehead for convincing his mom to allow him to like persuade his mom to co-sign, because she didn't want to co-sign, because she wanted to buy her own house, and she didn't want anything to threaten her ability, I guess, to buy a house. So Whitehead was the one that told her everything was copacetic and she could do it. So that's why I was like, so I don't understand why she would still be blamed for that, even if that were the truth, which I don't know if it is or isn't. But because he was kind of the one that actually was telling her to go ahead and sign it. She didn't want to do that. That came out in court. It literally is a text where he's thanking Whitehead for persuading his mom to co-sign. So yeah. Anyways, Mina said, "Hi Pam, my name is Wilhelmina Rollins. I go by Mina. I am very proud of you and your take. I take pleasure enjoying watching you. Much love and God bless you and your family and all that you do. Thank you so much. That was so kind of you, Mina. You put your whole name on here too. RJ, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. We have 10 new intellects because of you, and we are so grateful for that. Eve said, Pam and Whitehead is good discussion. Fonnie, Trump, and Whitehead are pure entertainment. GC said, Attorney Pam, you need to ask her for your reenactment of those notes taken. I tried to take a lot more than once. Since I can't, everyone, please do. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I am so mad that you have Sonia on here like this as a picture with her mugshot. That is so disrespectful. Y'all go over to Nyla's wall. We don't got walls over here. So you're going to have to go over there. I cannot believe you have that as your picture. But thank you so much for the super chat. And thank you for the continuous support. It's 1,000 of you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button on your way up in here. Yes. Thank you. Let's get back to this document. But that's what I believe he's talking about. Again, I didn't watch it, but I'm just going by what I can tell on cross-examination they were eliciting. So I guess that's what he called himself talking about. And so the government basically said that ain't even true. Why would you say that? So let's go on. Those claims were false and could only have been an attempt to trigger harassment or harm to the Andersons for being witnesses against the defendant. That the risk created by the defendant's public remarks have not yet materialized does not excuse his public postings or make them any less concerning. Second, regardless of the defendant's conduct relating to the Andersons, his disclosure of those documents subject to the protective order constitutes contempt for the reasons outlined in the government section 3148 motion. The defendant's response on that score is most notable for what it doesn't say. It does not deny that the defendant knew about the protective order. Nor does it deny that he knew that the documents produced in discovery remain subject to that order. Nor does it deny that he held up or waved around or read directly from the documents that were subject to the order. Instead, the defense argues that the order, quote, could potentially be read as not allowing the posting of that material as opposed to barring discussion of that material, end quote. That assertion is frivolous. There is no reading of the protective order that permits the defendant to read entire documents on video as long as he does not upload the document to social media websites. Nor does that argument explain how the defendant's conduct is consistent with the protective order provision requiring that disclosure material be used only for purposes of this case. Similarly, it is no defense that the defendant did not reveal anyone's, quote, contact information or anything that could impede an investigation. The defendant is not entitled to make his own judgments about what should be subject to the court's protective order and to unilaterally narrow the order accordingly without court intervention. And the defendant's own statements, including those quoted above, in which the defendant falsely claimed that Rashid Anderson is a government informant in order to cause him harassment or harm, belied the defense's suggestion that his public statements, quote, have all stayed within the bounds of the court's order and dictates thus far, end quote. That government, whoever write this, they writing over there. They writing over there at the Southern District. I like me a good motion read. On this record, there is probable cause to believe that the defendant committed a new federal crime while on release, and the court should find by a preponderance of the evidence that there is no condition that will assure that the defendant will not pose a danger to the safety of another person or the community, and that he is unlikely to abide by any condition or combination of condition of release. And that is over there at 18 U.S.C. section 3148 sub B, and you can see that in United States v. Gotti. And that's over there in the Second Circuit in 1986. Finally, if the court is not persuaded that remand is required under section 3148, the court should at minimum reopen its consideration of the defendant's condition of release or detention. Quote, bail conditions are not set in stone, end quote. And that's in United States v. Wang over there at the Southern District of New York. And it's a 2023 case. So that just came down last year. Despite having continued the defendant's release after the verdict in this case, the court is authorized to amend a release order, quote, based on the possibility that a change, a situation, or new information may warrant altered release condition. The defendant's flagrant violations of the protective order and his numerous public statements disparaging witnesses and others are new information, and they warrant re-evaluation of the court's decision post-verdict to continue the defendant's bail conditions. If the court does reopen its consideration of the defendant's bail, his detention is mandatory under the statute, and he should therefore be detained. For purpose of release pending sentence, the Bail Reform Act divides convictions into two categories. In the first, more lenient catch-all category, the statute provides that a court shall order a defendant who has been found guilty and is awaiting sentence detained unless there is, quote, clear and convincing evidence that the person is not likely to flee or pose a danger to the safety of any other person or the community if released, end quote. In the second and more stringent category, section 3143 requires, in italics, the court to order detention for defendants convicted of, among other things, a, quote, crime of violence, end quote, unless they can make the clear and convincing showing required under subsection A1 and either I, the court finds a substantial likelihood that a motion for acquittal or new trial will be granted, or the government recommends that no sentence of imprisonment be imposed. So basically, the court is asking the court to reconsider. If they don't just say he violated, then this is cause to reconsider his bail. That means reopen it and talk about it again. And now we got a different footing because he's convicted. He's not just a person that was arrested and he hasn't been tried. Now they're saying that he's convicted. And pursuant to section 3143, it requires the court to order detention for defendants convicted of, among other things, crimes of violence. So then it goes on to say the defendant was convicted on count 3, attempted extortion, which is a crime of violence under the Bail Reform Act. See United States v. Sicone, and that's over there in the Second Circuit in 2002. U.S. v. Romanello, that's a 2024 case. That just came down a couple of minutes ago, and that was over there in the Second Circuit, and it came down February 20th of 24, and it stands for the proposition that's saying RE, extortionate, collections of credit, and conspiracy to commit that crime. So those were the crimes, I guess, in that case. And neither of the requirements of section 3143A2 are met. Detention is therefore mandatory unless the court finds, quote, exceptional reasons for the defendant's release under Section 3145C, but the defense has not identified any exceptional reasons justifying the defendant's continued release. The defense only proffered that the defendant has a wife and 4 children who are, quote, dependent on him, and that his, quote, family would suffer immense hardship were he to be remanded at this stage, end quote. So they're quoting from the document I read yesterday. As a factual matter, those assertions are belied by the information the defendant provided to the United States Probation Office in connection with the pre-sentence investigation. In that context, he claimed, quote, that he has no income and his wife is supporting household expenses, end quote. The defendant's wife and children, then they put in parentheses too, the defendant's wife and children do not live with him. He resides alone, end quote. So this is allegedly what was in the documents he provided to the probation officer when you got to give all of your information, every nook and cranny they want to know. Then it goes on to say the defendant is tens of thousands of dollars in arrears. Not 100, not 200, but tens of thousands of dollars in arrears on child support, and, quote, reported that he is not paying his child support obligation. So my question is that not a crime over there in New York when you don't pay your child support? I just have so many questions. Okay, because one of my questions is this, and this is like real talk. The child support thing kind of bothered me a little tad bit. I'm going to be honest. Because, see, I could not be the baby mama. We would be in court every week because there is no way on this earth you're going to be on here giving $25,000 back to school giveaways. This was just in 2022. You do not get tens of thousands of dollars behind on child support in the last 6 months. All right. So how in the whole, how do you give $25,000 to some other kids, but you owe tens of thousands of dollars in child support? I need somebody to help me out with this. Then I pulled up the video because I was just that perplexed. I'm like, this is him when he was giving away this tens of thousands of dollars. I'm not going to play the mute. This is from Christopher Leon Johnson. This is his video, so I'm going to give him his credit. But he recorded back then this whole August 20th, 2022 situation here. And it has music, so I'm just going to play it so you guys can see what was going on. You pull up in a drop top Rolls Royce, but you owe thousands of dollars in child. I can't. I promise y'all he would hate my guts. If child support was due on Friday, I will have a template where I would just change the date because every week, I promise you, we would be in court. Every single week. He would be on live ranting and raving about how he hate his baby mama every day. Every day he would be on live like, I hate her. You can't do stuff like this in my face and you owe me money to help take care of our kids. That's going to be a problem for me. Look at this. You got the Fendi. Look at the Fendi bag. You pop in the trunk of the Rolls Royce. You got the drop top. Boy, look at that chain. When he got robbed, they said it was between $500,000 to $1 million worth of jewelry. How do you have $500,000 to $1 million worth of jewelry, but you owe child support and you say boldly, I ain't paying it right now? Huh? Look at it. Look pomp and circumstance here. Look at all this. You giving some strangers, they in line too. You giving strangers $25,000 worth of stuff, and you allegedly owe that. Well, no, this is supposed to be what you said in your document. So I guess he was black. Look, people taking pictures. Look at her. A bunch of people you don't know. Look at all of these people lined up to get this gift card, and you walking around like you just the King Kong of the city. But nobody knows that your own kids, you ain't paying for them. Like, come on, bruh. This is just whack. GC said he used Nestor's map, take money from the one and give to another, allegedly. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know, but I just was like, huh? You got people following you around like security. It is security following him around. Look at the cameraman. Look at this. Y'all see this? Let me see if I can fast forward this up a little bit. Let's see. He just shaking the baby's hands, and let me see. Look at big guy following around, making sure don't nobody touch the bishop. Look at that chain and that bracelet. Look at that watch. That had to be worth something. That's how I would have been in court. It's Your Honor, I get it. He said he's not working, but could you explain to me? And because he's not gonna come to court and none of this stuff. Okay. I would have every picture from Instagram showing every outfit, every car, every house. I know the house is currently in foreclosure, but like, how are you living in $1 million house and you owe me money for child support? That's how I would be feeling now. I was the baby mama, but the Lord saw fit and knew. Look at that. I mean, he look at he got a DJ. Look at DJ. Okay, DJ. Let me see if he's saying it. I know that's still music. Look at this line. They having some technical difficulties. Let's see.
If everybody can pay attention real quick, I know y'all probably can't hear me a little bit, but it'll be all right. They can hear me? Don't worry about it. Test 1, 2, test. Sound better, right?
Just have to project a little bit. We good.
All right, listen. Hello. Everybody put your hands up so y'all can hear me. Put your hands up. If y'all can hear me, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Everybody put your hands up. We'll go to the middle, y'all. All right, can we have silence real quick, y'all? Silence real quick. I just want to do a prayer. I just want to pray. That's it. Hey. I just want to pray before we do the giveaway. Is that all right? Y'all sure is that all right? Y'all hear me back here? So everybody want to pray. If everybody can just be quiet for a minute, just for a quick second. Just for a quick second, I just want to pray. Is that all right? Come on, y'all gotta respond back to me. There we go. There we go. If we can all lift our hands, everybody just lift your hands. Everybody lift your hands.
I can't. But you guys get the picture. Then we have the birthday, like for your birthday, you over there at Louis Vuitton and them. These the good people from Louis Vuitton. You got the Louis Vuitton happy birthday to me from at Louis Vuitton, and you guys are shopping or had them come, whatever y'all doing. You over there at Louis Vuitton, stuff like that. Just you want to aggravate me. Stuff like that aggravates me. Then I'm really just not understanding why in a pleading, if you know you had to put your circumstance, why would you say, I mean, I guess he was generic when he said that his family relies on him. So it could have had interpretations of different meanings. I don't know. But I certainly thought he probably meant financially or maybe watching them physically, because he does have a young child. And it just seems, according to this document, that that's not his situation. Why do we have all these pictures of Louis outfits and all this stuff and Louis shoes and bags and we know he does go to the Louis store. I know some people talk about whether it's authentic, but I know he actually does go because some of those receipts, like I said, they talked about they pulled up at the court. That part of the allegation was when he got some of the money that he wasn't supposed to have, they were showing how he spent it. So you saw Polo, I believe it was Louis Vuitton, it was furniture, it was a jewelry store. I mean, it was all type of stuff. I ain't see no payment to the. So is that not a crime over there in New York? Let me look that up. See, Google is because I. Let me see. New York. Let's see. Non-support of a child. Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at. Thank you, Always Shining, for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I'm looking over here at New York Consolidated Laws, Penal Code 260.05, non-supportive child in the second degree, because I'm sure they got a first degree, but it probably has more to it. A person is guilty of non-support of a child when being a parent, guardian, or other person legally charged with the care or custody of a child less than 16 years old, he or she fails or refuses without lawful excuse to provide support for such child when he or she is able to do so or becomes unable to do so when, though employable, he or she voluntarily terminates his or her employment, voluntarily reduces his or her earning capacity, or fails to diligently seek employment, or being a parent, guardian, or other person obligated to make child support payment by an order of child support entered by a court of competent jurisdiction for a child less than 18 years old, he or she knowingly fails or refuses without a lawful excuse to provide support for such child when he or she is able to do so or becomes unable to do so. When, though employable, he or she voluntarily terminates his or her employment, voluntarily reduces his or her earning capacity, or fails to diligently seek employment. Non-support of a child support in the second degree is a Class A misdemeanor. I don't know. That just was interesting. Sharon said, and he was limiting the families of receiving the cookies, gift cards. I know he didn't give it all away because I know he had some where I think he went in the neighborhood. He had a video, one of the videos, if I recall correctly, he went into, but he talks about how people talk about, this is kind of his soapbox where he'll say, nobody talks about the good things I do in the community. I give out turkeys. If you guys listen to him, I'm sure you guys heard that. I give out turkeys every year. And then that's what he mentioned is back to school drive. But how do you do this and you donate this stuff, but that's not connecting for me. Because the thing is this, and this is like seriously, and everybody can joke, but you have to really have something going on that you care about what some strangers think about you and want to put up a facade when literally people are not laughing with you, they are laughing at you. It has to be some type of insecurity and ridiculous desire for validation that you want to look rich instead of actually be rich. For you to say you really don't have, you're the man of the, this just assume, I don't know their relational situation. That ain't none of my business. But to say that this, your wife is basically taking care of stuff, but you out here beating your chest, wanting to fight people because they said boo. You done sued several people. You're in litigation. I'm sure these lawyers are not representing for free, I would assume. Like, how? We don't, it's the same thing with this not guilty. You got 3 months that you are out here, and this is like real talk. You got like 3 months where you at least know for sure you're gonna be on these good streets. You spend it trying to prove to people that cannot help your case. If you were doing this to a post-conviction lawyer who may look over your stuff, you do that behind the scenes and you say, listen, I believe that there were some rulings that the judge got wrong. That's every right to go out and keep saying you're innocent. That's fine. But we don't help you. But it's this longing for people to look at you like you're successful, or to look at you like you have money, or to look at you like, but look how fast this gets debunked, because you have to really show and be transparent and show who you really are when you have to give this information to the probation officer. Why even do this to yourself? We don't know and we don't care. This baffles me. This is what partly got him in the trouble that he's in. You wanted people to think that you had a tighter relationship when in actuality, he probably could have had a really tight relationship with Eric Adams until you become a liability with your actions. They started out talking about how he was going off, getting into it with Figueroa, who a lot of people, if you know that area, is a big pastor over there in New York. And that's how they started out in the trial when they were talking about the text messages with Eric Adams. And basically, Eric was being warned, like, you better watch being around him. It's not a good look. You know, Eric Adams, of course, most people have aspirations. If you mayor, many people want to be governor. If you get into politics, you don't stop at your local, area. If you a city mayor, you want a small city, you might want to go to a big city. You might want to go be a state rep. You might want, like, there's so many different things. You might want to go to Congress. So a lot of times they get the bite of politics and you want to continue to do it. You really had that access, but because something on the inside where you just couldn't even get yourself together. And I would never say this man is dumb, because I don't think he's dumb. I think like you want it right now. You want to impress people right now. And because of that, you get yourself caught up in the game. Like, I hope you get it together, because that's kind of messed up. Child support? And you giving out gift cards to random kids? Listen, Anyway, see, we could be talking about Adams all day. I'm just talking about Whitehead right now, but yeah. Come on, Pam. You know how many women will jump in that man's Rolls Royce? That's black folks for you. Most people that have money don't even look like it. Then this whole bishop thing, everybody runs with this titles and they think if nothing else, titles make you. He went and got a doctorate at one point. He doesn't really use that, but he did post when he got his doctorate from whatever spot he got. And I think he tried to use that a few times, but he doesn't, he sticks to the bishop thing. But it's this constant desire for validation. And it's just to your detriment, though. It's to your detriment. It's not helping you at all. Because people in the comments can say, you got this, Bishop. Yeah, they hating on you. People in the comments will hype you up straight to where where he's supposed to go after he's sentenced. They will hype you up like strangers. Don't know who they are. Don't know. They probably not going to give you no commissary, not going to write you one letter. And then at the end of the day, you got to deal with yourself. Like it's going to be you and yourself to impress some random people. I just don't even get that logic. Those Rolls Royces are repossessed. I don't know. All I know is it take a little bit to owe tens of thousands of dollars in child support. That's not nothing that happened in the last 6 months. So I don't know. Maybe he was Curtin. His wife would be silent about the child support as long as he was paying the bills. I think you're in Whitehead was married before, and he has 2 older kids. So I wasn't even thinking that he has child support for this young one. I'm assuming it's for these older ones if you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. His baby is only she was he said 8 months when the robbery happened. So that was what, July of, was that 22? So the baby is nothing but about 2. So I'm going to assume it's for the older kids. So I'm not. But then you said as long as he was paying the bills. But according to that, the wife is doing that, even if it was for the wife. So you said not a real doctor. No, it was only 10 people that was in the building. It might have been a little more. I might be exaggerating. But it wasn't like a big university or something like that. No, it wasn't when he got his doctorate. Jana 7 said we will never understand it because we don't have narcissistic traits like him. You might be right. I'm no psychologist. It doesn't click for me. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's get through this here. Since I've went on my whole diatribe. So then it has, and as a legal matter, they fail anyway. So even if he did take care of his family and they relied on him, the government is saying as a legal matter, they fail anyway. Quote, exceptional circumstances exist where there is a unique combination of circumstances giving rise to situations that are out of the ordinary. And that's in U.S. v. Leah in the Second Circuit 04 case. Where it says district courts have properly decided that circumstances that are purely personal do not typically rise to the level of exceptional, warranting release pending sentencing. So they're saying basically, even if you were the sole provider, even if they relied on you, whatever your detrimental reliance means, that is not considered an exceptional circumstance to avoid going to jail. Nothing about having a family or supporting them which the defendant admitted to probation he does not, is exceptional or out of the ordinary. And it says, see example, Lippold, which is a case that says the fact that the defendant was, quote, the father of 3 young children whom he supports financially, combined with other personal circumstances relating to the defendant's family and job, quote, do not rise to the level of an exceptional circumstance. As a result, if the court does not detain the defendant under Section 3148, it should nevertheless order his remand because there is new information justifying a reopening of the court's release decision, and the Bail Reform Act mandates detention under the circumstances of this case. The defendant should be detained pending sentencing. So basically, the government is saying is even if you don't believe that he violated Section 3148, based on what he has done and based on his behavior, the court should reopen and reconsider the bond conditions. And if that happens because he's basically convicted and he doesn't have an exceptional circumstance and he's been convicted of a, quote, violent crime, which I guess the attempted extortion is, then under the Bail Reform Act, it's mandated that he should go to jail until sentencing. Sharon said he has a lot of pride. That's not helping. That's not going to help in this situation. How many years is he facing? A lot. I think it's like, is it like 40 years or something? I don't remember. I didn't calculate. I'm wondering, like, I know that they suspend your license and all that stuff for child, but when do they say we're gonna bring a charge? Like, do you have to owe like $500,000 over there in New York? They said they got bigger problems. They're not gonna worry about it. They probably move faster if, like, say the mother was on some type of state aid, so they were getting food stamps or something, and the government was footing the bill. A lot of times they'll be the ones to initiate child support actions. But maybe does he take care? Well, no, he said his wife is taking care of the bills. Because I was gonna say, well, maybe he's just giving somebody money on the side and he doesn't deal with the actual system. But that doesn't make sense because typically, if you have an amicable relationship, typically, I could see the kid's mother wanting to drop it if they're like, because sometimes you can get more money not having a support order. So you don't enforce none of that stuff because you like, shoot, he gave me more money, without having the order. But if he's saying his wife paying everything, and he said he's not paying, so we know that's not true. I can't even make up no excuse for him. Because according to the probation department, he told them that he's not currently paying. Well, Blue Angel said they will probably take taxes if he paid him. Well, Blue Angel, I was in court. And it didn't look like taxes were filed. And it was one time the tax was filed in 1 year, I believe, and the income was so low. It's in my notes somewhere, so I don't want to requote it, but it was like so low. Like, I don't even know if it was $1,000. I would have to look at it to double check. But there were years that weren't filed, and then the one that was filed, that was part of the issue in trial because they saw the government had information from emails that he allegedly sent to different loan companies, and of course they want to see your tax returns. So he had tax returns that had income on it, but of course it was income that would make it look like he made more money so he can get these loans. But then you can get a transcript, obviously, of anybody's income taxes from if it's yours, obviously, or if you subpoena it because you're in court, some type of litigation of some sort. but you can get a transcript of people's tax returns. So if somebody says turn over your tax returns, they don't necessarily have to take that. They can get it straight from the IR and the S. And when you get it from the IRS, they'll tell you, if taxes were filed, and if they were filed, what your gross income and stuff was. So the government did use that at trial. And his ex-wife is not getting no tax returns. Ain't getting no refunds, because ain't no refunds to be got. Michi said, does his wife tell him he needs to pay for his children? I wonder. She has a child support order, so I would surmise. But see, it can get very expensive if you're consistently taking somebody to court, so I can totally see that. But I feel like it would have been an attorney out there that's like, it's the principle. Let's show some attorney. I think if somebody told me I'm taking cases out of principle, because you got to do like a certain amount of pro bono hours here. I don't know if they do that like in other states, but some things is like, so you in my face, right? You picking my child up in a Rolls Royce to go spend time with you, but you ain't paid no money. Like you owe me money. I don't know. That's what he said. He said his wife was paying for it. I don't know if she does something else besides the Breakfast of Champions. I don't know. Maybe she got other, things going on with her. Love and Devotion said Erica King is available. You are crazy. So anyway, they are supposed to meet on the 13th. When he goes on the 13th, the court is going to have to decide. And she seems like a fair judge. So I wonder, I don't know what her decision would be either way. The government did ask when he was convicted, the government asked that he be remanded immediately. And the judge was basically like, no, I've already made up my mind. I'm not going to remand him, because he was showing up for court. He never missed a court date and all of that good stuff. So the court felt like he wasn't a flight risk. So Dude said you don't need an attorney to get child support. It's just easier and better if you can afford it. No, family law is one of those areas of law, but going against him, I would think you probably would, because I've seen the way he maneuvers in court. He ain't new to this. He's true to this, okay? But family law is an area where a lot of people, divorces, child support, all of that, a lot of people go pro se. That's probably one of the that's why you have so many clinics. You have areas in most courts where they have step 1, step 2, fill this paper out, step 3. So I agree, a lot of people are pro se. But with him, and then he seems like vindictive to me. Like he seems like, thank you, Demetria, for the cash app. He seems like to me one of those people. And again, this is just my assumption, Whitehead, because I know you watch it. He seems like one of those people that'll try to retaliate, and because you're enforcing it, he's gonna be all of a sudden, I want custody. I want joint custody, or I want full custody. He seems like one of them. And then you got to spend more money. And then you got to spend more money. And then you got to spend more money. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what he seems like to me. Because I've done family law. And you do get some where they feel like if they get custody, they don't have to pay. Why wouldn't a whitehead try that tactic? If anybody would try that tactic, I would assume he would be the one that would do it. What y'all think? He said, I agree. Honeybee said, yep. Jack Black straight said, yeah, he definitely gives that type. Yeah, I've been in this system long enough to know, and I've dealt with people like that. Absolutely retaliate in the worst way. Men out here, men are out here taking women out over child support. Yes. You see what I'm saying? So you do have to be careful. Everybody's not like how I am. I want all the smoke. We would have had a standing order every week. Give me all the smoke. You can't, something in my spirit wouldn't let me allow you to be giving away turkeys and you ain't making sure your own people is getting okay, like Christmas. We did see the whole Christmas display where they was opening up gifts and all of that stuff or whatnot, or the whole Instagram presentation for, again, us random people that don't know him. So yeah. So I could see both sides when it comes to whether you're going to pursue it or not pursue it. And then if he's not working right now, you don't even have anything to garnish. Like, where are you getting the money from? Me, I would be like, this is how I am. You could come in and say you're not working. And see, he knows this. That's why I said the way he came into court just as plain. He didn't wear his bishop's ring, none of that. That's probably how he goes to family court. So you go to the family court and you be like, listen, that ring right there, I looked it up and that ruby is about 20,000. I looked at them shoes. Them shoes is about, I have your whole wardrobe, how much it costs from head to toe. Add the haircut, Your Honor, that's about $50. What he looks like is a good 2,000. He pulled up in a Rolls Royce. He has a Louis Vuitton backpack. Let's add that to it. That's a good another 5,000. So right now, he's looking at 7,000 plus a Rolls Royce. Money is coming from somewhere. So, Your Honor, I respectfully request that you impute income on him and we're just going to make up a number because money may be under the table, on the side of the table, I don't know where it is. But clearly, he's not lacking. He did not come up in here looking like he had to go to the secondhand store and get an outfit that was too big for him. He did not come up in here without having a haircut. Your Honor, you smell that? That smells like Creed. You know that cologne's like $300 a bottle. That's how I would be in court. And I've done it. So, I mean, everybody doesn't know how to really like attack it like that. So then lawyers can get expensive. Sharon said New York has to do some pro bono also. That's good. Listen, that's my sister right there. I'm telling you. I'll be adding it up. I'll be up there with my calculator. My calculator says be like, Your Honor, based on my calculation, he at least makes, I looked up his mortgage. I looked at and see the car note. There was one point where he was trying to sue, saying that they were saying he didn't pay his car note, and he actually did. He's never been behind. Well, how you got a Rolls Royce and you never been behind on the car note, but you ain't got no money? You get what I'm saying? There was a video of his wife where he upgraded her ring to a huge. I don't know how many of you guys saw it. It was a huge rock. I would have had a screenshot. That would have been in my motion. I'd have had a whole screenshot. A whole screenshot of that ring. Then didn't he like gift her a Benz truck or something? Like, how you doing all this online? His mama, for her birthday or Mother's Day, one of them a year or two ago, he was showing him getting her like some earrings, something expensive, because she didn't want to put it on camera. How you doing all of this, but you owe money to take care of your seed? Like, no. I don't even know their objection to probate petition online. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Integrity means not sure. Faith speaks. Thank you so much for adding to the intellects. I appreciate that. I really do. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this good commentary. But we gotta go. We gotta go. It's been fun, but Whitehead has gotten enough of my time. I'll let you know as soon as I hear something. Whatever happens on Monday, I guess we'll know, because he gonna go live in his car or something. Like, if the judge let him walk up out of there, he gonna be out there like, come on in, it's time to worship. He gonna immediately go online, so we'll know. Now, if he don't go online and nothing gets posted, we might have some action. So we're gonna see. We're going to keep our eyes and our ears open. If you get information, you let me know. But I looked at the definition of a clown, and to me, a clown is playing games, right? And it looked like you was playing games, especially when it comes to this child support. I can't get with that, Bishop. I can't get with that. The Bible says you're supposed to leave something for your children's children. How you leaving for your children's children if you ain't even making sure that your children is good? See, people want to skip over scriptures and verses and chapters, and y'all is touch not my anointed, because you think it's going to scare people to not come against you, because they think somehow it's going to affect their life, because you basically self-identified yourself as being the anointed one and the prophet of God. Yeah, you can only fool the fools. That's it. You can't fool the ones that know the word for themselves. But I got a couple of scriptures for you, and one of those is you're supposed to leave for your children's children. So yeah, you don't get no respect from me.
You's a clown. That's what you. Why don't you call me a cardboard bishop now? Huh? You tough? Call me a cardboard bishop now.
He's not gonna call you that.
Huh? Look on Facebook Live. Call me a cardboard bishop now. You clown. That's what you are. You clown. That's what you are. Why don't you say what you say on Facebook Live, sucker?
No.
Jet Black, you petty. You petty. Like, this is not of God. You said, Asia, I want my $20 back for that ladies' night Valentine's from 2020. You petty. You are petty. We're going to go. It's okay. We're going to do some deliverance, and we are going to bind and rebuke the spirit of petty, because you got it. And I don't want you trying to swallow it back down and don't let it release out of your soul. I need you to let it come out. Don't be talking about, I want to keep the spirit of petty on the inside. No. That is petty. That's petty as heck. I can't believe it. I can't. All right, y'all. I'm going to holler at you guys later. You guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Oh, I got to do the like.
And another thing you notice, the first thing they say, make sure you guys hit that like and the subscribe button. That's what it's all about. After they get them dogging you out, before they dog you out, that's the first thing they say. If you like this video, make sure you hit.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Until next time, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Have a great evening to all the intellects.